How can we predict new all-time highs in the market? Well, it's something that we can do with a tool called measured moves. Measured move is nothing complicated. This video is actually going to be pretty quick. This is a simple way that I can actually figure out where the market is going to go next using technicals on the chart. It doesn't really have to be perfect. It doesn't matter if it is. And I'll give you some examples that I've shared in my Discord over the past few weeks of how I was able to figure out exactly where we were going to head to on this last impulse. And I'll even do a projection into the future here. If you're a technical trader, if you know bull flags or just any type of technicals, right? M shapes, double tops, double bottoms, things like that. Any continuation pattern, you can use this. Any reversal pattern, you can use this as well. I'm going to put this in the context of all-time highs though, again, because when we're looking above us, there is no volume profile above us. I am, of course, not going to account for in this particular video. It's something I've talked about before. We can look at the options chain above us, right? We can look at call interest above us. And when there's exceptional levels of interest, we can figure out volume above us, right? And that's just looking at auctions and derivatives above us. We're not going to account for that. You certainly can look for confluence when you do that, or when you do a measured move, and you should. I do it, but we're just going to focus just on measured moves so people understand measured moves. Disclaimers out the way, and whatever other thing I didn't explicitly talk about in this video, of course, caveats, right? The market can do anything at any given time, blah, 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 blah. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Forrest. I invest in stuff. I'm a day trader. I've been day trading my own account for a number of years now. Day trade prop firms. And we have a trading community called Trade Edge where we teach people how to trade for real, serious business. If you are serious about learning how to trade, right, and not just copying trade and getting handouts, then it's a community for you. I expect everyone that joins to track their own performance, come with real questions. You know, if you ask me what a candlestick is, I'm going to think you're dumb. So yeah, if you're looking for a trading pod type of community, check us out. We have a 7-day free trial and 50% off the first month if you use code 10K, because my channel just passed 10,000 subscribers, which is super cool. I've put a lot of effort and time into this. Speaking of time, this is actually the second time recording this video because I forgot to record my screen the first time. So we're going to do it again. Let's take a look at the charts and predict the future. All right, we're going to go to ES 4-hour chart, and we're going to get rid of this one from the video that I failed to record. We're going to record my screen this time. So you can see here, we came right into this previous measured move, right? So this was a target that I shared, our trading community. This was a previous all-time high, right? Came up to it, cracked through it. What I want to know is, based off of this current setup, we have got another flagging formation. Where are we likely to go? So the way that I do measured moves is I measure from the open of the candle. So this is a 4-hour candle. And I should pause here and say, you want to always do these on the higher time frame. So I always do the 4-hour for these macro targets. You can do on the 1 hour and things like that, the 15-minute, 5-minute, things like that. But I'm trying to figure out macro targets, right? Where the market is headed. I look at the 4-hour. I like the 4-hour because even though it's obviously not the daily, but the 4-hour and the daily in my mind go together very well. I can envision the daily on the 4-hour, right? Which sounds simple. There might be another time frame that you like, maybe the 8-hour. You can also do the daily. The thing with the daily is all these candlesticks are a little too smashed to where we can't really see the flag formation here. Not just yet, at least. We'd have to consolidate for quite a bit longer, at least over a day or a few days to see a daily flag. But right now we have an intraday flag forming, essentially, right? Inside 24 hours at least. So I like to measure from the open to the top of the flag. So the open of the candle, the bottom of the flagpole, to the top of the flag. In this case, 66 points. So let's mark that down, 66 points, okay? And I want to figure out where we're going to go. How can I predict the future? Now, I'm no fortune teller, except that I am. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to go to the bottom of the flag, and I'm going to measure up 66 points exactly. And we get to 5,607.75. So I'll do an option J, put a line there, and we want to label how we got this line. This is a bull flag measured move on the 4-hour chart. Cool. Macro measured move, same thing as I did last time. Okay. Well, we got the bull flag 4-hour measured move. Now, if this breaks out and we continue, hold me to it. We'll probably get close to this price. I've been very, very accurate. You can see these levels that I've drawn on the way up on measuring these targets. And that's exactly how I do it. It's really simple, guys. You can do this on lower time frames as well. So if I go down to the 15-minute, things like that, like I said, whenever there is a continuation pattern, you can look for these moves. Let's find another good measured move example. let's go to the 5. So all kinds of stuff on the 5. All right, so here's a little good example. Doesn't even matter what day this is from. So we have a leg up into a continuation pattern. Okay, this was 12.25 points. So I'll measure from the bottom up 12.25, and that gets me to here, 55.21. You can see that we went a little bit higher than that, but that's fine. If I was going to take a long out of the shape, I would look for the 12 points. We got a little bit more. That's okay. I could refine this, right? This is June 17th at 11:30, possibly going to the 15. So let's go to June 17th, 11:30, right here. This little shape on the 15. And we can see on the 15, we've got a little bit more information possibly. So I could probably go down to here. That gives me 1450. Okay. And then I can measure up from here, up 1450. And that gives me 55.24. Still ran a little bit more. That's fine. I use these again. They don't have to be perfect. It gives me reasonable expectations for continuation, which again, if you're taking longs into all-time highs, in this case, we can see that we had a previous high to sweep. It's super duper important to have a reasonable expected value and not try to be a perfect trader. You don't need to capture the entire move. You just want to capture a reasonable amount of it, right? A portion of the trade that you feel like you can hold without having to constantly check back and forth, right? And it allows you to place a reasonable stop. What about downside? So it works both ways, obviously. The difference again, and the reason I did this in the context of all-time highs is we don't have much above us, okay? Again, if we look at SPX options and we're trying to take, swing trades, either option trades or whatever, you can see here that this previous move up, there was an buy wall here, 5150s, which I was tracking. This wall doesn't exist now, but as we came into this level, there was an interest wall here that we rejected twice and then came through it. Also, there was a huge amount of interest here. These 51 or 5450s went up to like $30. So that was a huge amount of money that I made just based off the chain there as well. So these OI walls also become, great trades as you look into the future. But yeah, with options, we can look above us in the options chain to see where interest is, right? And we can see big players positioning for expected moves. So you can combine those, like I said earlier, you can combine what you see on the options chain, right? SPX and ES don't have the same price, but do the math for the differential in the move, and you can figure out where the market might want to go. And you can play your risk accordingly. Again, we're playing poker. There's no way to exactly know what the market's going to do. So you have to use various levels of confluence. Timing is also a critical factor here. With flags, we know that flags typically have a shape like this. They consolidate, there's a fake out, then a breakout, right? That's your standard flag play. They don't have to do that, but sometimes flags will just break out. They'll continue. They'll do like a 3-bar play, right? Which is like this. But I always expect, right, the fake out, breakout, because the reason I like to expect that is so that I can expect this down move and not get shaken out, right? Or really, I like to get in on the down move. Right? So imagine this down move here. If there's an HV in here, high volume node that I can long off of for the continuation. So I like to expect those for my flags. If I don't get it, that's fine, right? If we don't get the fake out version, if we just get the continuation, then once we get the break and once we get the hold candle, right, another candle holds above it, then I'll long. And I know that I can long even though I'm longing high because I have my confirmation and I know what my EV is based off of the measurement of the first leg. Right? I know what my EV is going to be based off of the distance from here to here, right? So that's how I use them. And it allows me to play the market with reasonable risk, manage my risk, even at all-time highs appropriately. That's really it for this video, guys. Super simple. I hope that makes sense. Again, not complicated. It's not supposed to be. I do this, like when I mark up my charts, and I did this in the Discord, I erased everything and I marked up my chart in a matter of minutes. Your first macro level TA, like on the daily and the weekly and the monthly, where you should really find your macro pivots, should not take long. Okay. It really should take at a glance. Oh, it's obvious. There's a ton of interaction here. And you can see that on the volume profile. There's a macro pivot here, right? The monthly high, right? That's stuff that you should see instantaneously. That's key levels, confluence across those levels instantaneously. Once you start drilling down, that's where all the noise happens, right? When you're looking at pivots on the 15-minute, well, now you're going to have lines all over the freaking place. Okay. Don't start there. Start on the higher, start on the 4 hours, start on the daily, start on the weekly and the monthly. Do that. get your pivots, figure out your measured moves. If you're expecting the market to move up out of a daily flag, 66 points, and you've went short every day over the past 3 days, you got to reconcile that information. Maybe there's some good counter trend trades there, but you really should be figuring out, why aren't you positioning for the macro long? It's really, really simple, right? It's actually so simple, and this is why you need to do it. But yeah, that's it for this video. I appreciate all of you that watch these, by the way, all 10,500 and whatever of you there are. I think it was like 513 last I checked. I have immense amounts of gratitude for you here, understanding that I subscribe to people's channels and I know how picky I am. So the fact that you guys, picked me, picked this channel, picked Trade Edge as a community, as your home, again, nothing but gratitude. I want to say that as much as I can. I want you to hear it and know it. We might not have, a two-way interaction if you're not in the Discord, but for all the rest of you that are just, watching these videos, either for entertainment or to learn how to trade or for whatever the reason, I truly am grateful. I appreciate you. And yeah, let's get to 20K next. Yeah.